Can you just talk to us about how publishing has changed, especially with opportunities to exhibit at the Cape Town Book Fair that started 14 years ago?
I think many publishers from South Africa especially are having greater access to their counterparts in other parts of the world, especially countries in the South. The countries that participate in our book fair most include India, China, and the rest of the continent. So I would say from that I have actually seen quite a significant number of rights exchanges between African publishers from other parts of the continent and South African publishers. But in addition to that, I think there has been a lot of dialogue around the changes that are taking place in the African publishing industry. Although the digital books and electronic transaction in books has not taken hold as much as it has done in other parts of the world, especially in Europe and America, people are beginning to talk about that, and certainly that is one of the most dominant themes at this year's book fair.
All right, let's talk about cultural and social awakening through things such as the book fair. I mean, one of the criticisms is that about 70% of the books exhibited at the fair are written in English.
Yes, that's true, and I think it actually reflects the way English dominates many aspects of our lives. It is the language of commerce, and in publishing as well, it is the dominant language. I met quite a number of young publishers who are on a program with us from the rest of the continent, and they were saying that is a similar situation. But I was pleased to hear that in other parts like Zimbabwe and Malawi, there are publishers that have actually come here to try and sell rights from their African languages like Chichewa and Shona into languages like French and English. That reflects that there is significant publishing that is happening. I don't think that the commercial sector can drive this program on their own. When you look at education, for example, where there is significant state expenditure and also state policy with regard to the curriculum, there are a lot of African languages books that are published. But we are beginning to work with, for example, the Department of Arts and Culture and the National Library, especially in South Africa, to relaunch. The relaunch of the classics, for example, is one attempt to boost publishing in African languages. There is a lot that is happening at the level of children's books, but when you come to books for adults, we are lagging behind there. But still, there is a lot of translation between languages that is happening. For example, New Africa Books, Siaguruva series for teenagers is also published in quite a number of African languages.
All right, let's talk about transactions that emerge as a result of this book fair. On average, how many authors become published or licensed courtesy of this book fair, for instance? What sort of exposure does it give them?
It is difficult to quantify in monetary terms the amount of money that is generated through selling of licenses, because it happens between publishing houses. But what we have started doing this year, because this year is the first year that we are introducing an exclusive trade day where professionals will be exchanging and selling rights to each other. We intend to quantify that, especially in the buyers and sellers meeting. After the buyers and sellers meeting, we would like to know from publishers the volume of business that they have carried out. But having said that, what tends to happen now with the electronic media is that there are many authors that are blogging, and the book to look type of program and other programs, electronic programs that the book fair has launched, allows publishers to scout out there and find out what type of young publishers are beginning to write in which genres, and then meet them at the book fair.
Right.
From getting anecdotal input from publishers like Sub-Saharan Africa, I know they have done a lot of business over the years with the NB group, that's the NASBook group, where they have bought some rights from sub-Saharan Africa, some of them being originated in Akan, and I think sub-Saharan Africa has also bought some rights from them. So there's a lot that is happening, but this year we should be able to quantify that through the buyers and sellers meeting and a day that is dedicated to traders and professionals, which is the first day, Saturday the 31st.
Let's talk about the growing influence of electronic media and multimedia. We know that many people, especially in Western markets, don't necessarily need to buy a book in its physical form as we know it. They can get an e-book, and that's creating new opportunities, but at the same time limiting the role of publishers.
Yeah, it is very true that readers are no longer held down by the tyranny of print. They have many options, and it has taken time to get to us, but it is beginning to actually happen within South Africa itself. Most of the workshops that we have now are looking at self-publishing, digital publishing, and they are being conducted by people like the publishers of Electrical Books. Electrical Books is one publishing company that is solely in the electronic realm. But having said that, you also pointed out that it opens up possibilities for self-publishers and for new publishers. It also opens up possibilities for lower print runs, for lower runs, because people no longer have to print and say, I have to do 1,000 to meet the economies of scale. People can just put their books out there in digital format on certain platforms which people can use. But having said that, I think different types of books lend themselves to different media in terms of presentation to the audience. I think in university entities, for example, where there is huge infrastructural support, intranet systems within the university, yes, publishers are putting content there. Also, there are books that are being tried first in electronic medium through blogs, and they then go into the mass market through print. So there is a lot of complementarity between the electronic and the print medium. When we met as the International Publishers Association in Buenos Aires in 2000, Microsoft was predicting that the book would be in serious trouble by now. But we really have not seen that. In fact, we have seen a lot of synergy between the experiments that people do by testing their content out there on electronic platforms, and then deciding from there that this indeed can actually make it in the big world of print. So we have seen synergy, but publishers are really looking into how they can tap into the electronic medium and how the opportunities. I also know that booksellers here are beginning seriously into providing electronic books.